Hello world, welcome to Super TV. In this video mainly going to be about the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. But before I get into that, what y'all been up to? Did y'all have a chance to go and check out that Love is Blind reunion? The one that Netflix had hyped up, the one that was supposed to have been live, but then it didn't happen to the next day and it was recorded. Vanessa did a poor job at being the host. Like when they was talking to Jacqueline and Josh, even though I was sorry that they wasn't in the studio, but when she was talking to them, she was all friendly with them. She didn't ask no follow-up questions about what Jacqueline was saying about Marshall. But then when she was speaking to Marshall, she was grilling him. Then at the same time, she was grilling Paul, like keep questioning about why he didn't want to marry Micah. But the question is, did she watch the show? Because clearly it's evidence. All Paul had to say was like, hey, did you see the show? That's why he didn't want to marry her. Then from that, I ain't like how they tried to play the little whack joke on Brett and Tiffany. That was corny. Then the ones that was cutting up on the show wasn't even held accountable for their actions. Like Irene sort of was, but Micah wasn't, Jacqueline wasn't. But then they tried to hold Paul and Marshall accountable. But you know, enough about that show. If y'all seen it, let me know y'all thoughts on it in the comments below. Then what else had happened the past few days that I seen? Oh yeah, Draymond Green just got suspended for Game 3 of the series of the Warriors and the Kings because he decided to do the 8-time stomp on Sabonis' chest. But was Draymond tripping or was it justified because Sabonis had grabbed his leg? I don't know. I don't think he should have stepped on him like that, but at the same time, I don't think Sabonis should have grabbed his leg. But let's get into this game, the Cavs versus the Knicks Game 2. And all I can say is that the Cavs had showed up to play basketball yesterday. You know, after they got bullied and taking that loss in Game 1, they responded to the way they were supposed to have responded. The Cavs took Game 2 107-90. And the biggest difference in this game was that the team was aggressive and they was more assertive. Like you had Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, they was aggressive on the boards. Evan Mobley finished the game with 11 boards, but he was also a threat on the offensive end with 13 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Caris LeVert gave him a big boost off the bench. He finished the game with 24 points on 9 of 16 shooting from the field and 4 from 9 from the three-point line. Like he was looking like that LeVert that was back in Brooklyn a few years ago. He was back on that. He was being aggressive. He was being assertive. You can tell he had that confidence in himself. He also had 3 assists and grabbed 4 rebounds. And Darius Garland during that time off must have had looked in the mirror and had to remind himself who he was. He had came ready to play. He finished the game with 32 points on 8 of 17 shooting from the field and 6 of 10 shooting from the 3. He was more assertive. He was attacking the defense and he didn't just settle for jump shots. And another key piece for the Cavs win was Donovan Mitchell. See, last game, Donovan Mitchell put up 38 points, but he had took 30 shots. This time, he allowed his teammates to get involved. He allowed them to build their confidence up. He was more of a playmaker this game. He finished the game with 17 points on 6-11 shooting from the field and 2 for 5 from the 3. But he had a great impact on this game because, like I said, he was getting his teammates involved. He had put up 13 assists. But the Cavaliers weren't just being aggressive and assertive on the offensive end. They also played excellent defense. They was physical and they was allowing their length to disrupt the Knicks. And the defensive scheme that the Cavs had against Julius Randle was effective. They was doubling him at various times and at different spots on the court, which forced him to turn the ball over 6 times. And when Evan Mobley was checking him one-on-one, he had did a fantastic job. He utilized his length, he stayed disciplined by not jumping for pump fakes, and he was able to match his physicality. But let's see what went wrong with the Knicks. The Knicks, they couldn't match the physicality of the Cavaliers. The Knicks stars, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, they had struggled. They was struggling to score. It's like they was working very hard to score. Like Julius Randle had 22 points, but he was 8 for 20 from the field and 3 for 7 from the 3. Then Jalen Brunson had 20, but he was 5 for 17 from the field and 1 for 8 from the 3. Then Josh Hart, who played a key role in the Knicks' victory in Game 1, he finished the game with 5 points on 2 or 3 shooting from the field and 1 from the 3. So I think if he would have shot more, if he would have been a little more assertive, it would have been a more competitive game. The Cavs pretty much have beat the Knicks in every statistical category besides steals. Like, the Knicks had 14 steals to the Cavs 10, but the Cavs out-rebounded the Knicks 43-36. They had more assists than the Knicks, 26-16. They had more blocks than the Knicks, 7-5. They had a better shooting percentage, 49% from the field to the Knicks, 36% from the field. And they had a better three-point percentage, 42% from three, and the Knicks was 24% from three. And I also think another area where the Knicks went wrong is when they tried to allow RJ Barrett to take over the game. Like, I think that was a big mistake because RJ Barrett is not that guy. You know what I'm saying? He don't have that dog in him. You know what I mean? Like, he might try. In my opinion, RJ Barrett is the weakest link on that team. Like, he finished the game with 14 points, but half of those came from free throws because he went 4 from 13 from the field. He was 0 for 3 from the three-point line. And I think next game, the Cavaliers should actually just kind of sag off him a little bit and just allow him to shoot and just hunt for the rebound until he proved that he can make some shots. And another key difference from game 1 to game 2 was that the Cavs bench outscored the Knicks bench 36-28. And that's mainly because Caris LeVert came in there putting in work. And also, he started in the third quarter. And Curl just pretty much set out the rest of the game. So let's look at the keys for victory in game 3. And we'll start with the Cavs. So the Cavs, they're going to have to stay aggressive on both sides of the floor. They're going to have to shrink the floor on the defensive end and make things harder for Julius Randle because he is going to come and try to attack and be more aggressive next game, especially after that hard foul that he had received at the end of the game from Jared Allen. They're going to have to continue to put Jalen Rose in pick and rolls and make him work on the defensive end because I kind of feel like that was taking his legs away from him, so he really couldn't be effective on the offensive end because he was the mouse in the house. Continue to send the double teams at Julius Randle's at different times in different areas on the floor because he don't know how to adjust to double teams. And then you really want to encourage RJ Barrett to shoot because he's the weakest link of the team. And Caris LeVert, I think they should keep what they did this game. He should not start the game, but he should start the third quarter. So now let's look at the keys of victories for the Knicks. Randle gonna have to take better care of the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to start to recognize the double team. He either gonna have to make a quick move or he's gonna have to pass the ball. Josh Hart, he's gonna have to be more assertive. He's gonna have to shoot the ball more. He's gonna have to be a little more aggressive. It seemed like the physicality had rattled him. Brunson, he gotta take better shots. And RJ Barrett, he need to be shooting in the gym right now. You know what I mean? He need to be shooting a few hours today, a few hours tomorrow, and a few hours before the game. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to have to hit some jump shots. He's going to have to make shots. He's going to have to make plays for his teammates. And he also going to have to be effective on the defensive end. So the next game is going to be Friday, and it's going to be in New York at Madison Square Garden. And a little fact to know is the Knicks actually pay better on the road than they do at home. But let me know y'all take in the comments. Until next time, let's roll.